Good morning, Lisa Scola. And we are having a fabulous week. I hope you're having a fabulous week. Oh, it's always a different day, right? It's a different day, different new beginnings, different starting overs. Every day we are given that 84,000, like what, 600, I don't do the math, but like over 84,000 minutes to do stuff with. And I heard a wonderful video one day on a man who shared how if that was deposited as money in your bank account and you only had one day to spend it in, right? And every day you woke up with that $84,600 in your bank account. And I think that's the right. I'd have to do the math after, but you get the message. If you woke up with that in your bank account every day and you only had the day to spend it in, what time would you get up and start spending it? Think about it. And what would you spend it on? And if you didn't spend it all, you don't get to take it to the next day. It goes to zero. So those are your minutes. That's what we get every single day. How excited are you to do good stuff with your minutes? So as we do this whole week series on communication, so many things come to my mind. And communication is the basis of everything that we do. I cannot tell you um, the difference in my own life when I learned that the way I was brought up and things that were said to me early on probably weren't the best. My parents did the best they could with what they had. But honestly, when I started changing the way I communicated with people and how I treated others in my life, my own mom at the time said, Lisa, you did not get that from me. So, that was a compliment to me. That was me knowing that I had made some great changes in my life and how I was treating others in my life. Kind of like a secret, you know? Somebody would say to me, "You didn't tell me that happened." And I said, "Well, wasn't told to tell anybody. That was shared with me in a conversation that I had with somebody, and that was our conversation. I felt that if they wanted you to know, they probably would have called and told you, which now you do know. So obviously you found out, but it didn't come from me. And it makes me feel good and I sleep good at night. And that's all also part of communication. Communication also stems back to listening. If you can't get rid of the clutter in your head and be able to really listen to what people are saying to you, then you can't effectively communicate with them. So, are you really listening? Or is your brain on speed mode the whole time trying to figure out what you want to say next? Or is it thinking about your date from last night or your conversation from somebody earlier? Or are you looking at your phone? Oh, you're not listening to anybody if you're looking at your phone. This phone is the worst thing in the world. If you want to have a conversation, you put the phone down and you don't even look at the phone. You have and you communicate more effectively with whom you're with. I watch so often when you go places and I see couples and I see other people and you're talking to them and they're just scanning their phone. Oh no, no, you're not. You're not listening to that person that's trying to communicate with you. I don't care if you're home. I can tell you that if I'm home having a conversation with somebody on the phone, be it a team member, a friend, anything, a customer, I don't open my phone and start browsing Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I don't respond to another message because at any given time, if I have taken my mind and now separated it to something else going on, I am no longer effectively listening. I can no longer communicate effectively with them either. I have caught myself at times having conversations, and this will happen with my youngest son, Johnny, all the time because he is, of course, going to be 13 and he's a gamer and he's on games. And I don't understand a lot about the games. And I try to really kind of get a grip on what's going on, but it's hard for me. So I have to really listen to what he's talking about. And if I have a lot on my mind, I can actually stop and say, okay, Johnny, you're going to have to tell me that again. I'm sorry. I didn't catch any of that, and I have to just shut my head down and focus on him and listen And it's really not going to change my life what he's telling me, but it's important to him and and he wants to tell me about it and I want to listen. So sometimes that's what you have to do. Clear it out, shut the mind down. We're going to talk a lot about way we use words, what we put up on social media, how we text message instead of making a phone call. How often it is that you have something it's important and you want to tell somebody and I hear them the excuse, "Oh, I'm going to text it to them." Don't text it to them. That's not effective. If you put your if you put your punctuation in the wrong spot, it changes the entire meaning of what you just said. If you use all capital letters when you send a message anywhere, you're screaming at somebody. Now, it does not say that anywhere in the rule book of communication, but we all know if we get those all caps in a message, immediately the hair on the back of our neck stands up and we are ready to fight, right? And I have people that are older that do that because I don't think they know they have cap locks on. But it's irritating to me. And believe me, when I send that message back all in caps, I get a response like, well, you don't have to send that back to me all in caps and be mad about it. Well, your message was all in caps. So again, giving them back the same thing they're giving you at that time probably always isn't the best thing either. So things that we just want to think about today. Now, these aren't real long videos. I could literally stay on here and talk about this for an hour at a time. I'm really trying to keep them under 10 or 15 minutes because it's basically just us getting on the same page. Small things that we want to take with us for the day that are going to make a difference. So today, we want you to look at how you listen. I want you to pay attention to who you're having conversations with. Pay attention to what they're doing too. Are they listening? Don't call them out on it. This is not what it's all about. I just want you to take note. The changes that we make are about us, not about the people around us. And this is a very important point. You learning how to communicate effectively does not mean the people around you are going to all of a sudden learn how to communicate effectively as well. You can share with them what you're learning and you can tell them stuff that you're doing to change what you do. Same like you are doing with your whole budget at home now, letting people know, getting your significant others involved, knowing where you're spending and not spending and saving, right? How you're investing in your business, making this more of a whoever's involved. Well, you can do the same when you talk about communicating. You can let them know as well. But I'm here to tell you that it really is going to start with listening. None of us are perfect. We all going to have a bad day. But a lot of times, what we say make or breaks a conversation. My example when it comes to kids. So you have children and you ask them, let's just say, hey, I want you to clean your room. I want you to fold those towels. I need you to get those dishes done, right? So they do it. When they're finished with that, do you effectively go in and say, well, that's not where those dishes go. And when you do the dishes, make sure that you do X, Y, and Z. You didn't rinse the sink out. You go in the room. Oh, well, you haven't even made your bed properly. This isn't how you put your pillows on. Your shams are all over the place. And when you you put your clothes away, you didn't fold them first. You shoved them in your drawer. You take them all out and do it again. Oh, you cleaned the bathroom and put those towels away for me, but you didn't even fold them well enough when you put them in there. Did you fold the towels right? Let me show. Is this how you're speaking to people? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you are not, nobody's listening to you. They have you blocked out. They don't want to hear it. And you know what else they don't want to do? They don't want to help. Dealing with children and anybody, if you've asked them to do something for you, unless you are hardcore paying them to come do a job for you, let them do it their way. When they're finished, please make sure you thank them and tell them, thank you. You did a great job. I really appreciate it. You know, you helping has really made a difference in my day. And then, if you'd like to maybe tell them something that could help, then give them some unsolicited advice, if you will. Tell them, hey, next time when you put these in here, I really appreciate you doing this. But in the meantime, just don't put them in there like that. If you can't get it to go in, just let me know. I'll be happy to help you with it. It's gonna create a big problem down the road in the kitchen. All the stuff's gonna fall out. It's gonna fall on top of you when you open it up. Same with your drawers. You can show your children, let me show you how to fold these shirts to make it better for you so they're not a wrinkly mess. But at the end of the day, what I've learned? It's their clothes. They gotta wear them. Same with grades at school. Yeah, I share all the time that, when I grew up, nothing was ever good enough for my dad. I could bring home a B in math. He wanted an A. I could do great in ice skating. Well, you maybe first place will be next. I never felt like I could keep up. I always felt like I should be doing better. And I was always told I could do better. But instead of being told you're doing a great job, but what can I do to help you do something even greater? Do you want a tutor? I mean, what can you do? Are you happy with this? I mean, my kids' grades, and they have always told me when they got to be old enough, they would share with me. I never grounded them for grades. I mean, if they got in trouble, I'd have them, write a paper about why they got in trouble for me, which might help them for their grades. I didn't take away electronical stuff and put them in the room and punish myself more. I made the punishment so that not only could I be rewarded from it, but it's something that could maybe help them in their future. But they thanked me for saying, you know what, Mom, you always held us accountable for our own grades. You made us feel good that we were trying hard for ourselves. You don't want to turn that paper and you want to get an F. Guess what? That's your future. And that's what I would tell them. And I would tell them, I know you have the capabilities to do far greater things than this. Is there something holding you back? Do you not like your teacher? Let's talk about what I can help you with to make this better. And if I can't, share with me what your frustrations are. Do you hear how that communication makes such a difference? It doesn't break anybody down. It doesn't keep their self esteem in the toilet. When you do something that's not great, you already feel bad about it yourself. So when other people come around and tell you, "Oh, you're this, you're that," now you turn the focus on them, and all I see is it becomes about you now. Well, she said this to me, and blah blah blah. It's not about them, and they're never going to take a look at it and become better. And that's how my mind operates. Felt the same thing when I deal with addicts. I grew up in an alcoholic home. I married a drug addict and an alcoholic. And I am here to tell you when I learned that it wasn't about me anymore and that was about them, and I could separate the two, I didn't take things personal anymore and I didn't try to control the situation. And instead of breaking people down, I learned how to try to build them up. And guess what I didn't have? I didn't have arguments and fights. And I didn't have anybody who could point the finger at me and say, oh, well, this is because of you. You nagged me. You made me go drink. You made me do this. Blah, blah. Goes on. Hopefully, you got a little bit of the gist of this. These are things that take time to change, you guys. We're doing a series on communication, and honestly, if you're watching this and you've never done anything to help yourself communicate, it is not going to change overnight. Look up some great quotes. I suggest find some literature you could read, some books on positive communication, learning how to communicate, so on and so forth. These things help. Feed your mind with better stuff so that you could better communicate outwardly with people, that you can show them that, you're open, that your mind is open, that you can listen, that you can hear what their needs are. You won't take things so personally anymore, and you're going to have such better relationships all the way around. And eventually, it may even help you make more money. And this is all about doing great in life. I am about success. I'm about sharing success, and I love hearing about success. And therefore, that's why we have Success with Scola, because it is really an individual process on everybody's level. So, write down some things you can change that you say when you communicate. Take a look at what you do with your phone when you are communicating. See what kind of static you have going around you when you're trying to have a conversation. Work on little things at first and then start developing them into better ones. And now I want you to really listen to what you're saying to people around you, including your kids, including your spouse, your team members, what you say online, what you're putting out there. And we're going to have a good week. we're going to get into social media some more. I got some other stuff for tomorrow. So it's going to be a good time. Share with your teams. If you're not in my group, before sure to join my group because one of these sessions we will go live so we can talk about it. I think it's important that you can comment and then I can read and we can kind of do this together. Makes it a lot more, interactive. And I like that. So have a fabulous day. It is Tuesday and I hope it's great. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.